Well, when you think of human trafficking, you may not think it's that big of an issue. But here are some disturbing numbers. About 600,000 to 800,000 people are trafficked every year. A third of those are for labor, 2/3 for sex. 244,000 American kids are at risk of being targeted for sexual exploitation. Today on Community Connections, we'll learn how the state of Maryland is responding to human trafficking. We'll talk with a community group that is providing victims with programs to help and heal. Plus, the FBI will share how kids are at youth of sextortion. Let's begin with Maryland's response to human trafficking. Joining me now is Danielle Thomas, Victim Service Coordinator with the Governor's Office of Crime Prevention and Policy. Danielle, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about human trafficking. When we think that, we don't think the state of Maryland, right?
Right.
So how big of a deal is it?
So it's bigger than we would expect. Human trafficking is a crime of force, fraud, or coercion. And it's really rampant everywhere, not just in Maryland.
So is this an organized thing? Would you say it's like organized crime, or is there individual human trafficking? Explain that.
We think of organized crime as selling illicit substances, and once that substance is used, it's used. But bodies can be returned, and so your return on that commodity is something that organized crime is interested in.
Interesting. I never thought about it like that. How big of a concern is it for the state of Maryland?
So it's a big concern for the state of Maryland because not just organized crime, but then we're talking about our youth too. COVID changed a lot of things where you can be trafficked in the safety of your home, you just need a cell phone.
How did COVID change that? Because we had that technology before COVID.
Right, but it pushed everything online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about traffic, you're not talking about just being passed from one person to the next. There's technology that goes with that too,
Definitely. Right? So when it comes to child sex trafficking, you don't have to prove that force, fraud, or coercion. Child sex trafficking under federal law is anything sexual exchanged for anything of value. So when we think of that, we think of our runaway youth who are looking for a place to stay. But now go a little bit further with a cell phone. We see kids who may have been told no for something, and they can go online and they can use what they have to get what they want.
Got it. So there's been an increase of family-related trafficking. What is that? So
familial trafficking is a family member who is facilitating that trafficking. So if we're going to integrate it into child sex trafficking, and then think of maybe a family who's down on their luck, or maybe a mom who is dependent on substances. And again, kind of like that organized crime, seeing that body or that child as a commodity of being able to get your needs met.
Well, is that really new? Because I don't want to date myself, but I remember the crack epidemic, and mothers were essentially selling off their kids. So is that a new phenomenon that we're seeing, or is it just being more in the forefront now?
It's not new. It is definitely more in the forefront, and it's a big push for us in Maryland trying to get the information to the community of Maryland, letting everybody know what trafficking is, what it looks like, and what we can do to report it.
What can parents do? Because, parents, a lot of times, kids get home, they don't ask about their day, they don't ask how school was. So what can parents do to prevent this? Yeah,
so I'm gonna take it back online too, and making sure that you're having conversations with your youth, but also knowing the apps that they're using. There are some lists out there of the 15 apps parents should know, different things like that, making sure that you know the apps that they're using and then what is integrated within the apps. Does that app have a third-party chat?
What are some of the apps that are more common grounds for this?
So Snapchat's a big one.
Yeah.
Discord is also a big one. There are apps that come up and get taken down on a routine basis. There's a monkey app per se. So any app that can identify your location or has a third-party chat feature.
Are there law enforcement groups that are watching these apps per se?
Oh, absolutely. We have internet crimes against children and also different human trafficking task forces and units within the state of Maryland.
But see, a lot of times we're at dinner and we see everyone, mom and dad included, just at the table like this. So how do we enforce it to our parents, or reinforce it to parents that, hey, this is not just screen time, there could be dangers lurking?
Yeah, I think honestly, just making sure that we have connection with our family, right? Maybe integrating a family meal without that that device. I know for my own self and my own family, just being able to sit down and have a meal and not have my brain think, oh, I need to check this, I need to check this. So I think it starts with us setting that example for our youth of making sure that we're not necessarily tied to our devices.
But are there other ways, like we talked about Snapchat and these other apps, but something as simple as, say, Facebook. Is there still an avenue where someone could try to sneak in that way?
Absolutely. People are trying to sneak in anywhere. So not only do we have to be vigilant outside, but we also have to be vigilant online as well.
And another thing that always gets me, again, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but you see dating profiles and you see people with pictures of their kids on a dating profile. It drives me crazy because you never know who's out there saying, oh, I just want to get close to you so I can get close to your kids. So would you recommend people doing that?
No, absolutely not. Making sure that you are protecting yourself and your family on social media. For instance, if you go to the beach on vacation this year, maybe wait a week to post those pictures.
Right. Yeah, why is that important? Because of location, or why is that?
Definitely because of location. Yep.
Okay. Overall, how is the state responding to human trafficking? Because I was looking at crime stats just here in Baltimore, and there have been a rise in cases just in Baltimore City. So how is the state responding to this?
So in 2019, there was law passed that established regional navigator program throughout the state of Maryland. And there's a regional navigator in every single county throughout the state that serves as that pinpoint for child sex trafficking and child labor trafficking. So in your county, wherever you are in Maryland, there is a team of people who are actively working on providing services, providing support, not only for people who are confirmed victims of trafficking, but also people who might just be going down that path, might be at risk of exploitation or trafficking.
Got it. Last question. How big number-wise is this problem here in Maryland? Is there like a number of victims that we know of so far?
So with human trafficking, it is very much under the radar, so numbers are difficult to get. We know through research that victims will return to their trafficker or to the life an average of 7 times. Most of them don't actually have the verbiage to say, hey, I am being human trafficked, so that's where it kind of gets tricky with the data.
Got it. All right, Danielle, we'll leave it right there.
Okay, thank you.
Well, each of us can play a role in combating human trafficking through prevention and protecting victims. To report it, or if you're a victim in need of help, call the National Human Trafficking Resource Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or visit humantraffickinghotline.org. When we come back, we'll learn how the Salvation Army of Central Maryland is responding to victims with hope and healing.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd?
He got a collapsed lung from vaping.
He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma.
It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Well, the Salvation Army of Central Maryland responds to many needs in our community, spiritual, physical, or emotional, and they're also addressing human trafficking through Katherine's Cottage. Joining me to tell us more is the program director, Jaleesa Thomas. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm well, thanks for joining us. So tell me about Katherine's Cottage.
So Katherine's Cottage is a low barrier, self-sufficient, basically safe house, located in a safe location, but it's located in Baltimore, Maryland. And we provide on-site therapy, wraparound services, case management, outings, and just community resources for survivors of human trafficking.
So you say survivors of human trafficking. Where are you getting those referrals from? Are they coming off the street on their own? Are they coming from another agency? How's that work?
So we do get self-referrals, but we refer them back to a human trafficking agency. So we can get them from the hospital, we can get them from House of Roof, we can get them from another shelter, really any community organization. We can get them from a school. If a client or a student says something that are on the lines of human trafficking, they can reach out to us. So we get our referrals from any place, just word of mouth, we can get our referrals as well.
So what are some of the needs residents have when they come there? Because I'm sure with human trafficking comes PTSD and other things like that. So what are some of the needs that you see people need when they come there?
They definitely need therapy. So when they first come, they're assessed by our on-site therapist. So they need therapy. We do provide them with clothing. So we give them change of season gift cards so they can feel, you know, fresh, new.
Right.
They can just have a new wardrobe.
Yeah.
We provide them with that. We also provide them with grocery store gift cards so they can have food. A lot of them, they're coming from sometimes not eating as much, so giving them that space. We provide groups on site, so group therapy, individual therapy, and then groups as a whole where people are sharing their stories. They get a welcome kit when they come. And then we also just meet with them one-on-one to ask them what are their needs? What can we do to assist you and make you feel comfortable?
Right. Without going into too many details, let's talk demographics. Like, are you seeing older people come in, younger people? What's that look like?
So since I've been there, it's been a mixture. But a lot of times, I would say mid-age. Mid-age.
Mid-age, like 40s and 50s.
Like 30s to 40s.
Okay, well, you made me feel old because I'm in my 50s, then I thought I was middle-aged. So I know you have a lot of programs, wraparound services. What's the next step program?
So they can stay with us. I'm not going to disclose how long, but they can stay with us for a good amount of time. And the goal is while they're with us, we do help them do credit repair, save their money. They don't have to pay anything to stay with us. So while they're there, if they're connected with employment, they're saving their money. We help them transition out into the community. And we're trying to get more grant funding. So if we do help them move out, prior, we had a stipend where we could work with Price Busters and we helped them to get furniture. We can give them gift cards to get pots and pans, just like your essentials that you need when you first move into your first apartment. So not just throwing them into housing, but making sure that they have the necessary tools and resources to live a sustainable life outside of the cottage.
Speaking of, how big is the cottage? How many people can you house at one time?
So we have 11 beds.
Okay.
But everyone starts off on our intake floor, and the intake floor only has 4 beds. And they start there at minimum for 30 days. So they can be there from 30, 60 to 90 days. So if those beds are filled, we can't accept anyone new because they go up to the transitional floor.
Why is that a 30-day period?
It's just a 30-day blackout to see how they're transitioning, making sure that they're not. Sometimes people are familiar with their past. So being in a safe, structured, non-toxic environment is a struggle for some. So making sure that they are not communicating with their trafficker, they're not engaging in any drugs, they're not going backwards. So the first 30 days, they're not allowed to go anywhere without staff. We have curfew. And then once we see that you actually want to be a part of the program and make the necessary steps, because it's easy to go backwards. It's a lot harder to get on track and get away from what's familiar to you. So that's why we do that initial 30.
Is there drug testing during that initial phase?
So when they first come in, the referring agency should be letting us know if the client is in need of detox. We're not a detox house, so if they need to detox, we will refer them to a detox facility, and then once they are stable, they will come back to us.
Now, 11 beds doesn't sound like a lot. Is there an opportunity that Katherine's Cottage could grow where you could house more people?
Yeah, so the goal is to get our program to a place where we have a wait list like on a rolling basis. So then we can show the need to have a larger facility and accept more women. So that is the plan for the future. But right now, you know, we're a very small program and it works well as small. Because with a bigger facility, we need more staffing, need more people trained, and just for safety purposes.
And you mentioned grant money. I assume this is not federal grant money.
No, not right now.
So you're not at risk of any federal cuts or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Can you think of, without too many details, a success story that has come out of Katherine's Cottage?
Yes, we had several. We actually have a young lady right now. She came to us, I think in February. She's working, and now she's planning on transitioning out and getting her apartment. She asked our assistant director today to look into a neighborhood for her because she's planning to transition out.
Nice.
And she has a full-time job. She's working. She's not from this area. She's learned the bus system. We give them monthly bus passes. She's going to work. She's doing what she needs to do, and she's ready to move forward and have her own place.
That's awesome. How can the community help and support?
So the community can help us by, again, sending us referrals, connecting us to donors, sponsors, people that want to work with us. We accept donations, so during Christmas time, we get a lot of people that donate to the cottage. It can be soap, it can be scarves and hats, and we give those to the ladies, because some of them are not going home to their families on the holidays, so we try to make sure that we do something for them so they can still feel included. And also, connect us to grant funding. That's how we stay afloat. That's how we can continue to do what we do. Us providing monthly packages to our clients, that all comes from grant funding. So we're able to help them get clothing, get food, get a bus pass. One of the grant funding, we were able to buy a client a laptop who was on GED classes. We were able to connect them to driving school. That all comes from grant funding. A lot of them, they don't have a license. So being able to help them go to driving school, get their license, that's a big thing for some people.
Awesome. And I know it's a secret location, but if someone wanted to donate clothing or something like that, how could they do that?
So they would contact me or the assistant director, and we were arranged to do a meetup spot. We do have a central main office that I'm stationed in, and they could drop it off there. We just wouldn't necessarily have them come to the cottage.
Right, makes sense. All right, we'll leave it right there. All right, Jaleesa, thank you so much. To learn more about Katherine's Cottage, visit sa-md.org/Central Maryland/anti-human trafficking. When we come back, we'll talk with a special agent with the FBI about sextortion and how parents can keep their kids safe.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old. So it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Well, children and teens are often targeted online and can become victims of sextortion. As of late, the FBI has seen an increase in financial sextortion cases targeting minors. Supervisory Special Agent Leslie Adamczyk of the FBI joins us to help us understand sextortion and how to protect our youth. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thank you. So let's talk about sextortion.
Okay.
Obviously, extortion is part of that word.
Yes.
So explain sextortion.
So sextortion is when we have a predator online who goes online and finds a minor, teen, sometimes younger, and extorts that minor. And what they do is they get that minor to take sexually explicit images or videos, and then uses those to either get more content, more images or videos, or some kind of financial gain, money or gift cards.
But here's the thing, though. Like, I remember when my kids were teens, the source of money they got was from me. So kids just aren't walking around with a lot of money. So how are kids able to, like, finance this?
So with the financial sextortions, the predators aren't asking for a lot of money. It's really small amounts, $50, sometimes even $10, because what these predators are doing is they're casting a large net, right? They're going for a lot of victims. So, you know, our kids, they have these devices. They have electronic gift cards. They have access to Cash App and Venmo and Apple Pay, which parents are probably funding, right? And that's how they're able to do it.
How does it start?
In which instance, right? In describing the two different types of sextortion, we have traditional sextortion, which is more, I would say our victims are typically female, teenagers, and our predator pretends to be a boy, grooms them into, say, a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I love you. When boyfriends and girlfriends are together, they send each other these types of things. They send each other these videos and images. This type of crime goes on much longer. There's a grooming process. And what happens is the victim will send those pictures and videos, and the predator will say, I have these now. If you don't send me more, I'm going to send them to your friends, your family, your school. I'm going to expose you. And what that predator wants is he wants more of that, he or she, I shouldn't say he, they want more of that for their collection. In the financially motivated sextortion, those are very quick, in a matter of hours. And yes, and we're seeing most of our victims are males, age 14 to 17. And the predator pretends that he's a teenage girl, sends a cute picture, turns the conversation into a sexual conversation relatively quickly, promises to send a sexual picture if the victim sends one first. The victim sends the picture. I have this picture, same thing, but instead of more pictures, it's send me money, send me a gift card.
Just like that?
Just like that.
So essentially they're playing on the male teenage libido, like, oh, she sent me a picture, let me send her a picture.
Yes, or she's, she said she's going to send me a picture, because it's not a young girl, and in a lot of instances, they don't actually send anything. So the victim's not getting anything. They're sending something in the hopes of getting something.
You talked about that age range for boys, but how about for girls? When does that grooming process start?
I mean, it's all a range, right? We've seen victims in both instances as young as 7. I mean, and that is extreme. That is extreme. The typical age range is teen. I think 14 to 17 in both instances is a pretty accurate age range.
Why do you think teens agree to this? Even at our ages, people still try to get those types of pictures, right?
Yes.
But we're a lot more seasoned, if you will, to know not to do that. Why do you think teens are so willing to do this?
Unfortunately, I think that it's become normalized. I think it's wrong that it's become normalized. I think it's important that we get the message out there to not send these types of pictures, not just to strangers, but to people that we do know. Because the fact of the matter is, once these pictures are out there, they're out there. Yeah. And who your boyfriend or girlfriend is one day might not be your boyfriend or girlfriend the next day. And people do really mean and bad stuff even when they know you.
Yeah, so it could start out innocent, boyfriend, girlfriend, you break up, now it's like, oh, I have these pictures, if you don't do this. How harmful can this be for a kid long term?
It can be very harmful long term and short term. In the short term, unfortunately, especially in the financially motivated sextortions, we've seen a lot of death by suicide, which is one of the reasons we really want to get this message out there. Long term, there's a lot of psychological and emotional harm done. you don't trust people anymore. Right. There's a constant worry. These pictures are out there. Who's going to see these pictures? You know, just it's very, very hard to come back from this.
Yeah. So back in June, the FBI conducted Operation Restore Justice.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So Operation Restore Justice, I think it was in April, but Operation Restore Justice was a nationwide operation, and it was an opportunity for the FBI to show these predators that we're out there, and we're not going anywhere, and we will find you. It was a week-long operation. I think at the end of the week, across the country, we arrested, I believe the number, it was over 200, maybe 204, 202 child predators.
And this is federal charges, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So they have to serve day for day.
Yes. And in August, actually starting this week, we have Operation Enduring Justice starting. So.
Got it. Last question, what can parents do to make sure this doesn't happen to them?
So I urge parents to have open and honest conversations with their kids. The minute you hand over that device to your kid, and I'm not talking about, you know, you're at dinner and you let your kid watch something on their phone. When you give your kid that cell phone, that computer, you're opening the door to those predators, and I don't say that to scare parents. I say that to tell parents to have an open and honest line of communication with your kids. Parents should know that these predators are out there. They don't discriminate.
Right.
They go after all sorts of kids. The predators are all different kinds of people. There's not one type of person. I tell parents that those devices are yours. You have every right to look at those devices. You are paying for those devices. Not only do you have a right to look at those devices, you have a right to take those devices away. I do believe that there's a fine line between trust and privacy. So when I say look at those devices, I'm not saying go and read text messages, but know what apps your kids are on. Tell your kids not to talk to people that they don't know in real life. The other really important message that I want to get out there to both parents and kids is that it's never too late to report this. If this has happened, report it if you haven't reported it. It's really important. There are services that we can provide for victims. There's never a guaranteed prosecution, but there is always guaranteed services that we can provide to victims of these crimes.
Awesome. We'll leave it right there. All right, thank you so much, Special Agent Adamczyk. Remember, if a young person is being exploited online, they are victims of a crime. To report it, call 1-800-CALL-FBI or report it online at tips.fbi.gov. Thank you so much for joining us and making community connections.